you know, and I even say this loosely to my daughter, bazakuncosa bonke, you know, concentrate on isikolo into ebalulekileyo, you know, just concentrate on what.
Yes.
If for you to be able to get umsebenzi, you have to sleep with someone. Don't compromise your principles. Move on to the next. Khawuyojonga uba awukhona umsebenzi uzawufumana without having done anything. Don't go the easy way out because you might think it's the easy way out ukulala nomuntu and getting umsebenzi. But amadoda wona ayohlala ethatha i-chance. But sometimes they ask, you don't give, they still give you the work. You know, mhlambi kakade bayijongile i-bid process yabo babona uba you're the cheapest to qualify. Kha umuntu uthatha i-chance just because i-appointment letter seyikuye.
Spada excel, spada emini, spada ebusuku, emzansi yasangodlala. Spada excel, spada emini, spada ebusuku, emzansi yasangodlala. Spada emzansi.
Sanbonani Tumelanga Sheni, hello, good day to everybody at home. My name is David James Sampson, and as you know, I never roll alone. Dada, greet your lovely audience. Never, ever.
Mandis bulisele koni nonke emakhaya igama lami mbulonwabo wakwakhani inkosi.
Yeah. So, as you guys know, every first and last Sunday, what do we do, Tachi? What do we do? Panda Mzansi, business podcast now. It's no longer a segment. There has been levels of growth just left and right. Tachi,
okay. And then sihamba ne-backyard empowerment sessions. And what's interesting is that ngoku senza those pop-ups.
Guys, you remember in the last episode I told you we were moving. We have moved. We are doing pop-ups, guys. We are going across the Eastern Cape. We are taking the backyard empowerment sessions mobile. And as you can see, Kaluku, this is not our normal venue, Kaluku, guys. This is not where we normally shoot. For those who don't know, Smart Diva Accommodations, eQuigni, eMonti, for all of your beachfront accommodation needs. But today, Dad, we are somewhere else.
Palace.
A palace.
We
are even home. And we are at Lukholo Palace.
Njalo hleze Lukholo Palace.
Lukholo, yes.
Lukholo,
Hey. And for those who are still referencing the old map like me, that is Queenstown. For those who don't know where Ekomani is, it's Queenstown.
Be politically correct. Asamsebenzi Queenstown sekomani.
Yeah.
Sawubethwa leadership yalapha.
Fucking politics. It's fine. That's it. When I overheard a little birdie speaking, I was told by now, today we are interviewing a woman of power, a woman of influence.
Ubone usomashishino strong, abene power, abene influence. Into ifunayo le. And what's nice, kwinyanga yamanina. Inyanga yomama, kasilapha ekomana lo kufuneka sithi make sure na kanjani ba sedlula ku leadership. Wasifaka abantu abakhulu. Sithi make sure ba we interview and give them a platform, ba cherish and inspire others emakhaya ba bangobani. Benza ntoni, kutheni belapha ngoku. Kuzaba mnandi.
But kaloku Titan to Titan. Introduce umama to adoring public.
I won't be doing justice kaloku introduce so let's make it a point ba azokwazi ukuzichaza. Sis Minty.
Molweni manene.
Kunjani?
Ndizaphila kunjani?
Sizaphila nathi man. My co-host here. Uthi Titan to Titan.
Titan to Titan. Those who see eye to eye. Kaloku, some of us are here, but we know there are people there in high places. They are here.
Kuthiwa bandike introduce. Iqomba indaba ndiyaroba.
Utsho.
ababukeli emakhaya ukuba ndingenza i-introduction and funeka simnike i-platform akwazi uzichaza ukuba ungubani kanye kwenzela baphela bayazi uba heyi kakuthiwa ngoku sizo-interviewa i-woman of power bazivele ngokwakhe bayibhale bhalani phantsi igama bhalani phantsi please
Take notes emakhaya.
yeah.
Mandiqale ndibulele ngethuba eninike lona lokunejoyina this Sunday on Phanda Mzansi. Igama lam ndinguMinty Makapela. I own a company called Proclean that's based up in Komani. I've been in business for 17 years now. I'm the former chairperson of the Black Management Forum in the Eastern Cape. I sit on a number of boards where I can influence the discourse.
A number of boards, national.
The economic discourse of the province and of the country. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's who I am. I'm a mother of two. Because that's another responsibility in running businesses. And I also have a very supportive partner.
Just all the heads, just all of them. You thought, you know what, it's fine. Today I'm a businesswoman, today a management forum, today Mama. Okay, hey guys, some of us fail to multitask very simple things, ne? Just to answer the call and it's fine. Never mind. Sis Minty, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It is amazing to have you here with us. And I feel, and I know it's going to be an amazing interview. But I think, Sis Minty, before we get into the titan that you are right now within the business space, within any other spaces, tell us who Minty is, where she grew up, how she grew up, what gave her the motivation and the drive to be the woman that she is today.
Okay. Thank you so much. I was born and bred, not battered. In fact, ePhakamisa, that's where I was born. Ndikhuliswa ngumama notata, but my dad passed away in 1990. Ndiphanza uchaza iminyaka yam ngathi
even at 17 years in business.
Please,
so my dad passed away, and well, my dad was a teacher. So at the time when he was alive, I went to a multiracial school. Isn't like right, back then. And then when my dad passed away, then Umama she was a sales lady at Ubekas Ngoko. It was a clothing store, so she didn't really have that was comfortable.
Yes.
And so obviously then when the breadwinner, which was my father, passed away, we started to feel, it isn't with Tile that have changed. But fortunately, the one thing that he left us with was imali yofunda. So on that side we were able to, but then it was not easy because ufunda kwesi sikolo se right, but at the same time iskaftina sakho asifani nesabanye abantwana. So I think that background then, like uqalela nje apho ndabona ba hey, whatever I'll be doing in life, whatever I'll be doing with my life, I have to make sure but even if I'm not around, if I do have kids one day, I make sure that they are still comfortable.
Yes.
So back then, I really didn't know what I was doing because but I was still too young. But the things that I did pick up, and the thing that I did pick up was that whatever you do, just make sure you are going to be sorted and your kids are going to be sorted should you not be around.
Yes.
Anyway, so like I'm very loving mother. Ostricty.
But then the worst part is that they say that you turn into your mother the older you get. So Sis Minty, tell the people at home, have you turned into your mother yet?
Not yet. But it's quite listen, don't just want to happen.
And you're like, okay.
Yeah, so
But you're asking this question a wrong person. Suppose who's abandoned.
Okay.
So my mother then tried her utmost best ukuthengisa. She started selling. She would sell clothes. Kwakukho i-factory Dimbaza back in the day. And so she used to sell payana on Fridays. She stocked clothes. So uphuma kodwa esikolweni on Fridays we used to go there because sasizofika kungekho mntu endlini. So siye Dimbaza sincedise ke, so although you are there udlala but somehow you are uyayibona ba kwenzeka ntoni. And then as you grow older ufuna nawe ufakela abantu eziplastikini izinto abazithengayo uqala uba lichinje and all of that. So I think with that then I saw we never go home on an empty to bed on an empty stomach. Ikhona imali ehlala ifika every Friday siyayazi basa gqithe KFC xa sivela uthengisa. So ukuthengisa actually is a way to sustain yourself and you never run out of money because of that. I think that was the lesson I learned back then. And yazi ke noba yani nayenza kangoku lonto ba ungabi out of money.
Every salesperson is looking at the screen like
But I think the entrepreneurial spirit, I got it from her, and I think it was Nyanke love for money to say, okay, if you do sell on a Friday, we'll go get a KFC. So back then.
So selling was equated to KFC. You were like, okay, this thing, okay, no, it's fine.
And also, what was interesting for me was that when my dad was still around, why pay and get wind, so to KFC get wind. My dad is no longer there. Akukho as easy as it was when he was there, but KFC simjaka 4. In fact, there's something.
So no longer 1, okay.
So anyway, I grew up, went to school, went to varsity, and then thereafter I started looking for a job. I couldn't find a job that was matched to what I did.
Can we ask what you studied?
I studied tax.
Tax?
Yeah, taxation.
Oh, taxation, okay.
Taxation.
Tax.
My dad. And then I then went to Joburg. To my half brother because I wanted to find umsebenzi phayana. When I got there, ndandiqala nokuya eRhawutini ndingayazi noba kuthini, but what I knew is that funeka ndiphangele. And I have to leave the comfort zone that I'm in. I have to create a better life for myself and for my family. And then did I mention Kanel last born out of 9 kids?
You skipped that part. You just slid past it, but it's fine.
So in any event, although ndinguntondo as you would put it, but I always I didn't want to be any privileges over nguntondo. I wanted to work hard.
And then everyone keeps saying the last born is always the problem child.
No.
Hey, the last born.
I think it's just as time goes. And so I went to Joburg to my brother. Uba ndizame, to see if I can find a job there. And then when I got to Joburg, my brother is Akava, his deaf. So when I got to Joburg, and I always think of this and I laugh, uba waihlala Eval is an hour away from the city center where you go. And so I would have to commute. So funeka nike imali yo market, as we called it in the days, on a daily basis. But sahlala at chap, I'm not gonna be able to afford this. And what he did was waya kule ndawo yakhe yabantu abangavayo wayonifunela ikhadi labantu abangavayo nam because abantu abangavayo babekhwela ebhasini for free.
Let me just ask post-production team, please. That fraudulent information is still
All right. Anyway, so I got to Joburg, but then on my 4th day, I was fortunate to find umsebenzi, but it was not the job I was looking for. Ndafuna umsebenzi cashier at Spar, but I took it because ndandingafuna uhlala. I knew uba umsebenzi orayithi uzofika, but mandikhabe ndiba nento endiyenzayo. It was the most difficult time of my life because ngoko ndinguntondo ekhaya I didn't do any domestic chores. I was hiding behind uba ngumntana.
So worse, you were the typical last born.
Ufika kwam ngoku eSpar funeka ndikorobhe ii-floors before kuvulwe ngemop engakanani uba kube manzi yonke indawo.
Thawusuka phi
No.
So, but luckily I engaged with the customers as uzothenga, and I would say uba bras ndifuna umsebenzi sisi, if you know anyone umsebenzi wakho who's needed. Unfortunately, I then got a job with a bank sooner thereafter. Ndathi ndiseRhawutini, I was like ndihola le salary 1. Ne?
And you were not happy with this
Committed
one,
ngoku
like,
unzathini ke ngoku. Uyabona nayo enye into, you know. Hayi man, and I can't afford the life that I envisaged for myself and that I wanted to give my mom. So man, and that was when abantu babeqalisa uregister businesses. So I investigated bakwenziwa njani umuntu xa efuna uqala business and all of that, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. And also I think I was tired of Gauteng. I wanted to come to the Eastern Cape. I thought at least ngokusene experience. So even if ndiyabuyela ekhaya ndizafika ndifumane umsebenzi sendine experience. So I came back and I registered. I remember it was in 2006 when I got my CK document. I've made it. Like the CK document to me meant to buy business and you know, money is going to
that was just a starting gun.
The toughest journey of my life, being an entrepreneur. But look, it's been 17 years now and I love it. So I then came back. I went to the ECDC. I sat with a business advisor, and I didn't have anything to my name, you know. Where am I going to start? I remember I wanted to open a stationery shop back then and resell stationery. Ndaphuma ke xa ndiphuma e-ECDC reception ndava utata othile pha encokola uba ethethe efowunini ba I've been asking you to send me a temp. It's the second week now, you haven't sent anyone. Don't. Wagqiba efowunini ndathi ufuna itemp yantoni ngoba ndikhona. This is just like 10 minutes after ndibone uba I don't meet any of the requirements to get funding for a business, and he took me in. I started ngokube ndingene phakathi sithi ndiyofuna imali ndaphela ndifumana umsebenzi. So I went through an agency and eventually I worked at the ECDC for like 4 years. And I think that's when my entrepreneurial spirit grew, because I used to see clients that were coming in to funding. I dealt, I was at the debt collection department initially. So I also learned about although abantu beyifumana imali, but kunzima ebhizinesini. Actually ngoku kufuneka siyofuna imali ndibuza uba kwenzeke ntoni, take me to your journey, where did you fail? And I think that's where I sort of, you know, learned these are sort of the things that I need to look out for and whatnot. But then part-time I had my registered business, so here and there I was looking for opportunities. And then I met this guy, Carol Duploy, he passed away, who sort of mentored me. He was doing cleaning detergents at the time. So I went to him, I'm like, hey, this is an interesting business. And he's like, no, go find work, I'll help you. So I went around, I started marketing my business now. I got a trade name. My company was not only trading, I got a trade name now, that was Proclean. And then I started looking for a supplier, although I had my job, and then he mentored me. Fast forward to about 2 years after Ndisenza Londo, he then said, I want to go back to Queenstown, and I think I'd be able to do this. I've done my research. There are 2 companies in Queenstown that are currently manufacturing cleaning detergents, and I think I should be an entrant. And back at any black companies that were doing it at the time. So he held my hand. Very important. Get yourself a mentor if you're a young person and you want to be in business. And don't be scared. Ask. You only because a lot of people are scared to ask. They're scared to even ask me. Coach and Ben Konba, you know, I would be, but I wouldn't know what you need unless you ask. But if you ask, there's no way I'm not going to help, because, you know, and so he held my hand and he mentored me, and basically that's how I started, you know, my business.
That's how Proclean started. But she's keeping these various boards that she's on, but it's fine. We'll get there.
I think it's quite clear. And then was mentioning zonke ezizigigaba until unodoli ongu Proclean ba makaqala abe lapha ngoku yabo. So sis Minty ulapha ngoku. You started a business yakho. Waze komani because of ubona le opportunity uyibonayo. And then ngoku kwathini wayebeka umsebenzi wathi make sure ngoba zayo compete nabelungu and then za supplier everyone into ye cleaning detergents.
Yeah, so I decided to then come back to Queenstown and be in Queenstown full time. I
come back.
I was in East London at the time.
Yeah.
The ECDC is in East London, so I
so
moved
was
to
exam wahlala before Queenstown. So
No.
here why because of ECDC we see research yakho about
about Queenstown. Well, go nomuntu engcumana eQueenstown, so
Please step in.
two birds with one stone.
And if zangazapha wayengazangazufumana mthatha
Uyayiva ke
it's very important
It's very important this
that
one.
decision.
So I came to Queenstown, and obviously it wasn't easy, as you can imagine. It was a town that I didn't grow up in.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anyone. So I literally walked around town trying to find premises. I went to the rental agents, uzofuna deposit ezinkulu, uzofuna collateral, uzocheckishwa all over uba do you qualify, and uzofuna bank statements, and our bank statements is enough to show that you're good for this. But you know deep down uba as soon as you find premises you'll do it. And so I met this guy while doing the door-to-door owayethengisa i-curios phandle xa kutshonelanga azifake kule shop. So he wasn't using it during the day. He was using it as a storage. I'm like, chap, I can house you after hours. So that's how I found the premises that I'm still operating in now. That was 10 years ago. And so late ke xa kunetha ke ngoku Proclean wayengazokwazi uvula because umfo wayengazozithatha izinto zakhe ayothenga estradweni. So ndandixhomekeke kuye kakuhle. Weekends I'd want to open, but xa engekho yostocka into zakhe zilapha zigcwele yonke indawo, so I couldn't open. And eventually we made a plan, and I ndamkhangelela mna ngokwami indawo abazobeka kuyo izinto.
Ndamkhupha ngokundawo.
In fact ndaya ku landlord ba.
Uyabona ipower. Hayi ndayibona that.
Ku landlord sayotshintshilisa, so I didn't then have to apply it. Like the landlord saw ba hayi mani khona movement. Ukhona Proclean, and whenever esihle nyuka wayefika ndikhona. So abuza ba kwenza kantona, you partners with this gent and whatever. And so when he said he's moving out, it was then easier for him to know ba lo mntu udale lapha. He is good for le mali ye rent and all of that. So that's how I was fortunate to get in and have a place apho sisebenza khona ke nangoku. Sangena ke, you know, the first week of actually owner the whole place. You have to now build shelves and get more stock, and you're hoping by this thing is gonna fly off the shelves, and you know it wasn't like that. I then realized there's a lot of marketing that one has to do. So we started marketing, but we survived, you know, even those tough times, and we are still here today, I suppose. We were manufacturing. The guy that I spoke about, Carol wayendinike stock, then I'd sell, then I'd pay him, and then eventually he was like, no man, manufacture ngokwakho. So I then went for a course to learn how to deal with the chemicals and manufacturing. And in fact, ndaya ngokwam, umuntu okhoyo ngoku who's my staff ufundiswe ndim.
Okay.
You know,
yes,
so
big boss lady.
although I don't manufacture anymore, but ndibonise good ba ayiyole because I taught them. And even if someone leaves, or I'm then able to say, "But no, ofikayo," you know, that's one of the advantages. I think balekile to be hands on and to know into yenzayo uba yintoni yenzwa kanjani, ungarely a lot on
Too
people.
much of it.
Because when people leave, what are you then going to do?
That point is critical and important here. So nyani ke if awuyazi business, because zininzi business most sikwi-tenders sikwintoni yabo. So umuntu vele afune ufumana la msebenzi athi uzanika abantu bonke, and then ngoku whatever eyenzeka yakaze yabo
Yeah,
nto thola uthi
it's
la
just
business ngoku
happening.
uyifumene project pha yambini zantathu but umbone babelapha lo muntu esenza imali lo sudden akakho into anophinda yenze yabona so that point is quite critical sabulela ukuthi make sure ba abaphulaphuli nababukeli bayive ba be hands on.
Let's know what's going on. Just know, please.
So, like any entrepreneur, then I got excited. Things were moving. I had employees. I then, except for the manufacturing and the selling of the cleaning material, we introduced cleaning services. We had PPE. So we did all things cleaning. Got excited. I opened a branch in King Limstown. And then also just shortly after that, I think 2 months after that, there was another company in Queenstown that was closing, that was doing PPE.
Yes.
So the lady approached me and said, "Man, ndiyahamba ndibuyele Gauteng or wherever she was from. Can you buy my business?"
Yeah.
Biggest mistake. Because
So yenze
I
ngexesha eliyi-one
expanded at the same time. Yes.
So uzavula second branch eKomani
Second
and
branch
also
eKomani,
King.
second branch eKing.
So you are
Third branch,
overextending
I
yourself.
overextended
Okay.
myself and I
Yeah.
failed dismally. Sathi safikela nango-sheriff at one point at the house because of that financial, that bad decision of ukubona uba le nto iyasebenza mawukhawuleze to expand. So I think it's one of the things that I want to mention uba in your expansion processes and wanting to grow your business, make sure you've got your ducks in a row, make sure you've got your research, and make sure that you know what you are doing, because imagine from running one successful shop to now having 3, you know, I was way over my head. But you know, it's a lesson that I feel that I had to go through.
learn.
If I didn't go through it, I wouldn't have learned, you know, the things I've learned now.
But failure is the best teacher.
Yeah,
Yes,
nakanjani.
definitely.
And into emandi ke with this podcast it's all about abantu abaqala ibhizinesi bazokwazi ufunda kwalapha. Angade ayofeyila yena ayazi ba hey make sure ba you
There's
get
this
the
spot,
facts right, yenza research yenza yonke into ungaveli ube excited kule nje.
And that's actually when I decided to go back to school. Ndaqonda, in fact, I don't have a business qualification. Ndingene apha ngenhloko uThambo okanye uqina. Ndiyazi uba iyeyiphi.
Yeah.
But you know, I needed to go back to school and polish my skills.
Yes.
And because ngoku as a manager, as a business owner, marketing, HR, you are everything. Finance,
Yes,
look,
yes.
and ke ngoku, you know, you've got an accounting qualification. So in terms of finance, you might be good.
Fine,
But what about
ezinye
izinto?
izinto, HR,
Yeah.
how are you handling
Yeah.
your people?
Yeah, so I then did the honors and eventually got to do my MBA. So it's also another.
MBA.
Makayicacisela MBA ke kaloku abantu ngathi ngokudlala ibasketball. So it la MBA it in honors and then MBA it.
So I enrolled for a master's in business administration.
Yeah.
Which is
women of influence of how une masters in business and okay.
so very important, I think, even if you cannot get to a stage of actually doing the masters, but do your short courses if you can, whatever you can, and
Constantly upskill yourself.
Yes. Also, ngokukulula kokone online courses. There are even free courses that you can do.
Like this one company we know. Hey, what's his name again?
As a sponsor say it mention
No, go ahead. Technology. I think they provide such services, but go check out the website and you'll see for yourself.
Yeah, very
We're
important.
listening to you.
Continuously upskill yourself. Another thing that I think I want to mention is through this process, I think we did mention into a BMF initially, was that I joined the Black Management Forum. The Black Management Forum is an organization that resonated with me at the time. It still does, because I didn't want to be involved in politics.
Hey, Yabona Tachi, Mrs. Man is doing that thing that you said she would do. Because that was my next question. We were getting to it. But Mrs. Man decided, you know what? This whole cake is mine.
Wait, she owns this interview as
me eat
losing.
it.
Yes, no.
We were interviewing, but Mrs. Man
leaders.
So I think it's very important because there you know the BMF is not like just as new organizations that are as abantu business only, but there you get to network with professionals as well.
Yeah.
and you get to see uba abantu benza ntoni. What are the challenges abantu abanazo, and how can you learn and grow with them? And for the BMF specifically, it's about giving. For me, although I received a lot with BMF, but I also gave a lot. I gave a lot of my time. I did a lot of coaching and mentoring abanye abantu that are upcoming, and just sharing ideas on businesses and where we are at at the so it's very important uba umuntu ajoine, some forum, whatever forum, even if le forum kaphanda mzansi ngoku, because I understand that a lot of entrepreneurs are going to be coming upper, and so qabe khona sizoncokola about how people do it. And I was saying, for example, Ulukolo Palace, it's the first time I'm here, but I'm seeing it in nice. So I'm thinking about these platforms like these are also good, because that's where we're gonna meet other fellow entrepreneurs.
I think that is one of the key cornerstones of the Backyard Empowerment Sessions. It is to create that networking opportunity where you can find a mentor, where you can find someone who is your peer in business, where you guys can interact and see where there's synergy, where you guys can work together. So, Sis Mandy did the plug for me. So just first and last Sunday, guys, come through. Backyard Empowerment Sessions. But Sis Mandy, you kind of skipped something. You just skipped it. But did you not say you were the former chairperson of the BMF?
La leadership.
In the Eastern Cape.
I joined. I think about the cooler now.
Okay. Yes, no. Bring us back. You joined. And then something happened, and then other things happened, and then you became the chairperson. Please, take us through that journey.
I joined the BMF, I think about 10 years ago or so.
Everything is 10 or 17 years ago. I am starting to become very suspicious about these dates, but it's fine. Won't even bring it up.
Look, it's the business started 17 years ago, but I can really say I've been in it for the past 10 years. So everything that I started, like joining forums remember at the time I was also working, so it was part-time initially. Yes. So it was only like 10, 11 years ago when I really got into it and started joining the forum. So I joined the BMF, and I was the provincial treasurer of the BMF. Initially, when I joined the BMF, I was responsible for the women empowerment desk. And then I became the provincial treasurer of the BMF, and then I was the deputy chairperson.
Because most people, when you join a forum or when you join a structure, you start off as an ordinary member. They don't just give you responsibilities right from the start. Says, man, what do you use when you wash?
No, I don't think it's about that. Look, fortunately, the BMF is a small organization.
Yes.
And so I think it's easier to identify people that are hardworking, that are committed and want to be with the BMF.
And to identify those leadership qualities and traits.
And also, as I said, BMF is a professional organization, so I think they sort of align your skills to what they have at the moment. Yeah, but look, the BMF is really not about about positions. I can promise you that much. Even the lobbying that went on to get me to treasurer wasn't really hard, because it's a person that matches the skill that is required at the time. And also in the BMF, you never really join and become an ordinary member. There's always a portfolio that you can join where you can assist the BMF with your skill. Even as provincial treasurer, I still had the branch treasurers, and we co-opted people that would help us with fundraising that are ordinary members. So basically, you've got a team already, and it's a team of people that have joined. Yeah.
But this man, big English words. Lobbying. Don't do it. Bring it down to the people. It's that thing that they do. There's that position that I want. And let's you and I talk about that thing, and you taking me there. But yeah, siko now.
So there's organizations who can
myself from this conversation. Post haste.
Sis Minty, you mentioned 4 key things that are very important, more special as a woman, and we are in a Women's Month. From the leadership joining these organizations and wakhula kuzo and became a provincial, and then also to be a chairperson kwi-organization most amadoda adla ngoziphatha. Also you are in business, which is abantu bangosisi abanintsanga, and into ebalulekileyo, and we always encourage, hence we have this business podcast. And also you mentioned isikolo, which is critical, ba ufundile, and then we have to make sure ba uphendubela back because of izawuncedisa, and then to the master's level. So those things are critical. At the same time, ungumama who takes care umyeni wakhe nabantwana and everything. How do you manage this?
Hey, superwoman. Tell us more. Tell us more.
Please.
I want to know.
Yes, there isn't a manual. Sometimes you also think, how do I do it?
It's like, oh, okay, I did that, but yeah, I don't know how.
Well, I think without blowing my horn or kanye horn yabantu besimama, I think we're born with it. You know, I think we just are able to multitask as women, and are able to do a lot of things simultaneously. But planning is very important, obviously, because awuzokwazi uyoleqa into ethile ube kukho nematch yomntana that you want to support, and you know,
so,
our kids are also very important to us. And also you don't want to be running around in organizations when your business is failing.
Yes,
you know,
very
so
true,
it's very important to find that balance in whatever you're going to do. Plan. Like I wake up early every morning and I look at my day. What is going? If there's a meeting I'm invited to or something that I have to do, even with the school activities, I have to know and you don't, so that you don't run around like a headless chicken. I think it's very important to plan. You know, in whatever you are going to do. Well, perfect. Things will come up.
Yeah, you know, life happens, guys.
Life does happen.
In an instant. All
but
that
try
planning.
as much as possible to plan, you know,
Sis Mandy, Udachi touched on something that I feel we should delve into more, especially it being Women's Month and us specifically geared towards empowering previously disadvantaged females. How was it breaking through that quote-unquote glass ceiling and finding expression in these male-dominated industries?
You know, for me, I'd say tina njengomama siyathanda ukoyika. You know, if you remember earlier in the interview, I mentioned even when I started my first business, ndaye mlungwini to mentor me. Even when I done umsebenzi ndavumlungu ethethe efonini ndathi kuye yawufuna lo msebenzi ne. So thina I think siyazoyikisela okanye sibambikazi okanye soyika uba ufuna uphoqwa okanye into enjalo, but you'll never know unless you try. And for me, I don't think, and I don't want to say uba ndibe fortunate, but andikhe ndinkqonkqoze ndingavulelwa. You know, especially with ababantu sithi thina ba dominate. You know, I think males should be given some credit. They do want to support us. Now I've been supported. Even in the BMF, when I had to ascend to a certain position, it was men who said, "Yes, it's her turn. We should give her a chance." So what I'd like, the advice I'd then say is, try. You know, because I think we don't even try.
I think that this goes back to an interview that I recently watched with a therapist that specialized in young professionals in the business industry, and he specifically aligned specific pay gaps or wage gaps when it comes to the genders, in the form of a lot of females, especially in the professional environment, tend to shy away from conflict, whereas a man normally has, as has been, when I am doing X amount of work, therefore I am entitled to X amount of pay. And women tend to avoid as situations. So how do you encourage young females who are coming up in business to have as a spin? Guys, I'm here, hear me.
I think it was Uzo Zibini who put it so well. Take up space.
Yes.
That's all we can do. We have to take up space. Akumaxesha loba sibe sisoyika sisithi it's a male-dominated industry. You have to go in. Awuna choice. Because if you don't, amadoda ayaqhubekeka. You know, I always laugh when I think of this. When we started our MBA, our very first class, yathi lecturer yethu yintoni umahluko phakathi kwe-males and females that abafundayo. And then we didn't know, and then because we thought we all have the qualities, we even smarter, siyapasa nathi senje uba inoba yintoni umahluko, commitment. So we tried, we sasicinga nje uba inobuthitha ngantoni, but eventually wathi uyayazi uba kuphuma i-advert ngomso kuthiwa kufuna umuntu one-MBA, amadoda lapha azawu-apply athi MBA candidate. The females won't do it. Until I
Yes.
And that was for me an eye opener to say, nathi masingene ngoku singenayo, but you know you're gonna get it. You know you're working for it, towards it, and you might get that
and
opportunity.
You have that confidence in yourself.
Exactly.
I'm getting my MBA.
Exactly.
It's already on the way. Just give me the job for now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Sis Minty, we need to make sure, but since lenyanga yo mama, and we must talk about izinto mama abazi experience in business and in leadership. And most of the time you find also nakabefuna imisebenzi uba they must do something in order to get in. Be it funeka lahle umlenze, be it funeka enze into ethile. So now business funeka uzofumana itender, funeka ngokulale nozibani and zonke izinto abazi experience. So when have you ever experienced into enjalo, and do you think I understand that thina singamadoda we need to play our part in changing London, but ke kulento because by experience kakhulu abantu ngomama, wena have you experienced such things?
Well, amadoda, they are special creatures. You know, as long as you know, Baba special in their own way, you've got that at the back of your mind. You can go through anything. Yeah. Men will always try their luck. I say, you know, and I even say this loosely to my daughter. You know, concentrate on this calling, you know, just concentrate on what. If for you to be able to get umsebenzi, you have to sleep with someone. Don't compromise your principles. Move on to the next. Without having done anything. Don't go the easy way out, because you might think it's the easy way out and getting umsebenzi. But amadoda wona uhlala ethatha i-chance. But sometimes they ask, you don't give, they still give you the work. You know, mhlambe kakade bayijongile i-bid process yabo babona uba you're the cheapest, you qualify. Xa umuntu uthatha i-chance just because i-appointment letter seyikuye kha for uba makakunike uthi yenza lento, and if you say no, funeka kunike i-appointment letter anyway. So just try and see if it's not going to work, but don't compromise your values because uzohlala nalo. Even when you're a successful businesswoman at ekugqibeleni uzoba happy because uzoyazi ba you didn't work hard for it, you got it through shortcuts. So stay true to yourself and just see will things not work out eventually.
Mama, I think we are dwindling in terms of time, but I do want you to speak to young entrepreneurs who are coming up, who are watching this podcast right now, who are seeing Sis Minty, who sits on multiple boards that we didn't touch on. She's running the economic discourse of the Eastern Cape and nationally. We need to deal with that at some point. Sis Minty, we're coming back for you. We're coming back for you. But how would you advise them when it comes to these potholes that you've been able to identify, be it either through working at ECDC and seeing it firsthand or your own personal business experiences? Let's limit it to 5. What are the 5 biggest potholes that hamper so many businesses starting out, do you think?
All right, so 5 as it means.
That's why I said trim the fat.
And zithetha to that specific business that you're opening or that you are starting in. So azizofana nezomntu olandelayo. But if I were to speak in general, I think I'll go back to the things that have helped me, the things that I have identified that are gaps. And okokuqala into yoba focus. Yenza into lento uyenzayo uyimasterishe before jumping to the next, because I feel by young people tend to jump. And it's also very tempting because uba uthe usaklina apha kuthiwe hey kukho imali construction, you want money, so you know
okay.
you're gonna jump. You know, it's tempting, but make sure that you've mastered. And multiple streams of income are something that we all want, that we all aspire to. But if you haven't mastered any of into that you do,
then they'll
it's
try
gonna
out.
awuzoncedakala because akhona uzabe
Jack of all trades.
Master of them all. Master of them.
Master of none.
No. See, I change just for Usis Mendy. She said master each one of your trades. So she started with this one, she mastered it, and then she moved on. So it's jack of all trades, master of them all.
Over time, but gotta focus and make sure.
But start with
Yeah.
you build that over time, so don't rush into it. And then secondly, zininzi opportunities ezikhoyo ngoku. That even the government is providing. Make sure you research about what you want to do, and make sure that you've got a market for the products that you are going to sell. Do your research, you know, and all of these things talk to because you know, sifuna izinto ezizakwenzeka ngoku overnight.
Like life is happening, guys. Everything must be done now.
Now. And then get yourself either a mentor or join these forums or attend pandams and sessions.
Or
But make
do
sure
all of them at once, guys.
Yes, or just make sure you surround yourself with like-minded people. Surround yourself with people abazakunceda to become, you know,
Not those friends that take you to YOLO every Saturday.
Hi man, this is our partner. Please go.
Go and support but don't go with those people who are going to make you leave YOLO at 4 a.m. in the morning. That's all I'm saying.
No, but also at the same time, you've got a lot of steam.
Yeah, steam ends at 1 o'clock, guys. Sleep at a reasonable hour, then you know when you have to wake up for a podcast in the morning, it's not painful. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
So I lost my pattern. No. But yeah,
surround yourself with like-minded people.
Surround yourself with like-minded people so that you are able to develop. And also, one very important thing is finances. I'm going to finance background, so I think Tina siyazithanda izinto ezifine, which there's nothing wrong with. I think also you dream as a person, and with you dreaming of becoming an entrepreneur, you dream of yourself driving a certain car, living in a certain area.
By the way, I see this mini women don't even driving a certain car.
A certain car.
All of that happens over time.
And sitting on multiple boards.
That's what I'm saying.
Directing the discourse of the economy, but it's fine. But
it's gonna happen eventually, but don't rush. Don't rush into it because umsebenzi of money contract 1 year 6 months ubale kubheke ebhankini uyofuna imoto. Iphele contract after 6 months ingarenew, and then what are you going to do? You know. So make sure ukuba you plan izinto zakho kakuhle. There's nothing wrong. We all started in you know, small. Start small and grow and develop. Ungazithi nqi ukuphinda ungalali because eventually ufuna kulalile ebusuku so that uzokwazi uyohustlisha the following morning. But if awuzolala then uzoba sengxakini. That's the one thing. And then what I want to say.
That was number 5, and I would have actually loved it if you would have gone in deep, because I feel like financial literacy and financial education is something that we sorely lack within the education system, and even as young people getting into business and you come to find out people don't pay attention to taxes, people don't pay attention to levies and things of that nature. They don't pay attention to price point. That are very critical, and then when it comes to saving, African child.
Very important, and yes, but even in some of the forums that we're in and as business people, you who is in business, who's a fellow business member, you guys get called to bakanenzini kanizosincedisa we need donations for these people, so ufumanisa uba khange umuntu azilungiselele you know before asweleke in terms of 200 rand ye life cover okanye you know, so those are things that are very important. Make sure you save for your kids, very important. I think from going back and seeing uba kubanjani when you don't, you know, so those are the things that I think, you know, umuntu kufuneka azijongile live life, you know, be happy, be content, but make sure that the basics and the important things are also covered.
Sis Minty, uchaba lixesha. We so wish we can go on sitting at boards, sitting nangazo zonke ezinye izinto, but unfortunately.
I said we were coming for that one next time.
Uthi nakanjani because usafuna there's so much.
Next time,
akho imandi when you interview imbokodo uyazi ba hey ushiye si speechless sisafuna more because
we are ever
umuntu of power of influence, but siyabulela kakhulu for gracing us with your presence and share your story. Bafundile, bamamele, they are inspired, and we want to make sure we see a lot of Sis Minty Makapela out there. So siwishela inhlahla all the best for Proclean, angakhula akhule athi make sure bandawo yonke ngoku uya supplier. Thank you Sisi ngoba nathi.
Before we say thank you, I want Sis Minty, your audience is right there. Is there any last words you want to leave them with? A young person in business, a young woman trying to start up, trying to come through? Just a couple of words.
It's going to be very short. Whatever you do, don't give up. That's all I'll leave them with. Just don't throw in the towel. Fight. It will eventually.
In English, perseverance. In English, perseverance.
Thank you so much, guys, for having me.
An amazing show.
Thank you so much for having me. I truly appreciate. All the best for Pandam Zanzi. I'll be watching it. I hope you guys grow in leaps and bounds, and a lot of other young entrepreneurs get an opportunity to be on the show as well, to be showcased. I'm hoping by even the viewers are getting something from the conversations. And Ninga Soyik, we are here, to assist the fellow young people that are coming up for any advices. They've made it. There's nothing like making it natty. We are still owners and companies South Africa that I'm not gonna call because we want to grow and be where they are.
Yes.
Thank
Sis
you.
Minty, talking about Pandam Zanzi as a movement, we want people like you and city lapho komani siyazi basinabantu abaRight imbokodo eziRight. So sizakuthumelela ke application.
But Chachi is doing his thing.
So sifuna imbokodo ezistrong to make sure they push the Pandam Zanzi movement. I'm happy I see ba please fonani nifune uncedo bakhona abantu bafuna uncedo singoyiki yabo.
And then to our lovely audience at home, City, once again, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for spending the time with us. And I do believe that everybody at home, there's something that you would have taken from today's discussion because, wow, guys, so much has been unpacked. There is so much that we've covered. But Sis Minty, part 2 is very much necessary. I'm just saying, because those boards, what? But yeah, once again, we want to thank all of our partners, Silulu Technologies, TAF, the Artistic Alternative Foundation, EC Ndaba, Pandam Zanzi, Sophistique, Smart Diva, you know them all. Follow them all on social media. Why must I keep telling you guys this? Go there, press like, press share, press follow, and the notification bell just in case, So I think that's our show for today.
That's it, man. It's a wrap.
City Pandam Zanzi.
Waya spandimini ebusuku waya. Thank you.
And we out.
Ungangibona ngihleka kodwa uzazi incinga zami ungangibona ngihleka kodwa uyazi imvelaphi yami. This is a story about my life, ngelilibali lobomi bami. Ungangibona ngihleka kodwa uzazi incinga zami ungangibona ngihleka kodwa uyazi imvelaphi yami. This is a story about my life, ngelilibali lobomi bami.
Ndahlala phansi baba ndathu ukucingisisa ngepene phepha nengqondo ndazama uzikisisa yabe nenhliziyo engayekanga ukuphikisa kwade kwafika ixesha loba ndiye kukuzulisa yenza story about my life G khulele lokishini abanye bayibiza ngekasi kasi made me who I am and so I'm proud G balisele lami ibali nawe ufunde outi ekasa kukho comfy khoxa kufika ubusuku andikwazi ulala manje usiqekaqeka ndipenyuka luva longaphani banjwa luphika my life is falling apart nazindonga ziyadilika umadoda unyawo uzufaka uthahla uhlamba ngombende ibane picture yomntana ovuka ekuseni engathandanga avuka yokitsa umsebenzi abuye engabhaqanga kuphelelanga ebusuku uzolala engasoporanga umane sibuza umbuzo aqhawulwa kunina amatyathanga
kodwa uzazi incinga zam ngandibona mhleka kodwa uyazi imvelaphi yam this is a story about my life elilibalilo bomi bam ungandibona mhleka kodwa uzazi incinga zam ngandibona mhleka kodwa uyazi imvelaphi yam this is a story about my life elilibalilo bomi bam
yeah nalibali lalo rapper wase EC Bev be the name I'm making beats on my PC and EG never wanna lose I want victory banye baya hater cause up on koya bafiki ungan rona ndihleka menu ucinge ndonwabile I've been through a lot of things kwaye nibethekile my brother is doing drugs abazali sebegugile my mother and my father bafunyenwe yiswekile when I think about them I'll be browsing on my gallery and honestly land when they believe it's a fantasy time isikumlenze kanvuse this ain't reality it triggers me tickle so mandla can you just promise me qinelelo tata nimbiza nge-role model he did everything he could ukuze andibeke endaweni tata undifundisile ngena mali epokothweni I got a story to tell a story about my life
ungandibona mhleka kodwa uzazi incinga zam ngandibona mhleka kodwa uyazi imvelaphi yam this is a story about my life elilibalilo bomi bam ungandibona mhleka kodwa uzazi incinga zam ngandibona mhleka kodwa uyazi imvelaphi yam this is a story about my